Good morning, church.
Good morning.
That's so weak. Let's do this again. Good morning, church.
Good morning.
Okay, that's much better. I am Dr. Reverend Ahmondra, and it's my pleasure to be here with you this morning. If you're visiting for the first time, I want to say thank you for coming and welcome. So this morning, I have a sermon, and it's called The Secret Ingredient to Life. Now, the way that came to me is I was thinking about all the cooking that we do. I was actually thinking about all the weight I have gained because of all the food that I've been eating. That's true. But as I was thinking about it, I was thinking about the ingredients. And I went all the way back to my 20s when I first got married. I did not know how to cook. I didn't know how to boil water. Serious, okay? And so I remember I wanted to do my first Christmas dinner. Now, my husband was from Louisiana, so if you know anything, people from Louisiana, they enjoy food. They know about cooking. So I had to figure out how to make this meal because he was inviting all the relatives over. So I asked a co-worker, and she was so sweet. She was like, okay, I'll write down everything for you. So she wrote down how to make cornbread dressing. Cornbread dressing is a black thing, okay? We don't buy stuff out the store. We make our dressing from scratch. And so she wrote down everything for me. And it was so funny because she wrote down, boil the water and put in this and put in that. She was very specific on the ingredients. And I followed it to the letter. And that cornbread was awesome, okay? So when you put the right ingredient in something that you're cooking, it comes out perfect. What happens if you put the wrong ingredient in?
Sometimes
okay, now we know about that. When you go to those dinners and we eat that food and we're like, it's good. And we're like, oh, no, it's not, okay? So this morning, when I was thinking about that this morning, I said, you know what? I want to talk about a sermon and talk about the secret ingredient to life. What do we put in our lives that would make that life perfect? That would make our life be what we wanted it to be? So I said the secret ingredient to life is having spiritual awareness. That's the secret ingredient to life. Okay, so we're going to break that down this morning. But I first want to share with you a quote. Ernest Holmes is the founder of religious science, now called Center for Spiritual Living, but actually Ernest Holmes is the founder. And a quote from him says, "We should daily devote some time to quiet meditation, realizing the presence of God and affirming the truth of our being." So the truth of our being is actually knowing that we are spiritual beings, uniquely designed individually. So that whatever ingredient you're going to put into your life is unique to you. We have the power to add whatever ingredient we want into our lives to give us the life that we want. Unfortunately, many of us add ingredients into our lives and our lives don't look like we want them to look. But you have to remember, it's what you put into that life that has it look the way it does. So, how do I uniquely express my divine life? So what I did is I broke down the word life. L-I-F-E. Spiritual awareness for me is going to look a certain way. It's going to look different for me than it does for you. But I'm going to break it down for me so that you can get an idea of how you break it down for yourself. So that when you're adding these ingredients into your life, you're adding the perfect ingredient for you. We want to have different ways of expressing in the world. That's what makes us so unique. We're all divine beings, but we express differently. And that's so wonderful. When you look at nature, all the trees are trees, but they all express differently. And that's the same with us. Ingredients might express differently in life, but they all are the same. They all come from the same source. So let's look at the letter L. I'm going to take, like I said, that word life. Another quote from Ernest Holmes talks about life. So in my spiritual awareness, my secret ingredient for L, it's light. Ernest Holmes says, the light which lights our pathways is the light of God. It illuminates the way to all who would open their consciousness to it. So if you're open to it, you have a light that illuminates your way. Now, I passed out flashlights. Y'all got your flashlights? You probably put them in your pockets and turn them away. That's okay. I passed this out simply because I wanted you to leave here today with something that's going to remind you about the light. It's going to bring you to that spiritual awareness. And these are so cute because you can put them on your keychains and they actually work, you guys, you know? So no matter what the darkness may look like in your life, there's always a light shining. Remember in the reading, it talks about that? You look out into the atmosphere and you may see dark clouds, but there's a light. Now something happened really interesting the other day. I live in Carlsbad. And the sun was out. It was really bright. And then all of a sudden, this fog moved in. I mean, this heavy fog moved in. I couldn't even see the trees outside my balcony window. And I was like, whoa, what happened? But behind that, the sun was shining. I had never seen that before. I grew up in San Francisco, so I grew up in Fog City. But I had never seen a sun shining bright behind the fog. And it illuminated my living room in a way I had never had it illuminated before. It was amazing. And again, it brought me back to the fact that the light's always shining. We have to understand that and know that. Even when things appear dark in our lives, we have to know that the light is always shining there. So keep that little flashlight with you. So the next letter is I in life. And it represents, for me, inner peace. It might be inspiration for somebody else. It might be intuition for somebody else. But for me, it's inner peace. This is what Ernest Holmes says about peace. Peace is the power at the heart of God. When we center ourselves in this peace, we align with the infinite calm that nothing can disturb. Now, how many of you have been in a place and you just been chaotic and you're like feeling like everything's you're losing it? I'm the only one, right? Okay, I'm the only one. So this inner peace has nothing to do with your outside circumstances. It has to do with what's going on in the inside. We may know of some people that no matter what's going on the outside, they always seem to be peaceful and calm. In my life growing up, we called those people prayer warriors because they were always in a state of prayer. Always. No matter what was going on outside of them. There's an enduring source that comes with peace. And that source comes from spirit, comes from God. It is our comfort, our joy, and it brings us inner peace on a so deep level. A level that has nothing to do with external conditions. A lot of times we try to reach outside of ourselves to get what we want. I'm not saying that you can't use tools from outside. I'm saying that the peace within is always there. It's always there. And it's for us to identify and to touch it. So the next letter is F. And F for me represents faith. Now for you it could be fun, it could be another word, but for me it's faith. When I am tempted to doubt or worry, I lift my awareness away from the turbulent waves of daily living. And I go to the calm waters of absolute and complete understanding because I'm standing in faith. Faith is not always easy to hang on to, but it's always there for us as a tool. And I say faith for me is finding answers in the heart. If I want to know what's going on, I go into the heart. The heart will tell me. And then that's where I can stand firmly in my faith. Ernest Holmes says this about faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith is the power of God in us. It's understanding and knowing there's a power and presence within us and that we can tap it anytime. That we can use it any way we choose to use it. For the letter E in life, it represents for me enthusiasm. Now you might have E mean energetic for you or enduring. For me, it's enthusiasm. And this is what Ernest Holmes says about that. The energy of enthusiasm flows through us when we align our thoughts with the infinite possibilities of spirit. The infinite possibilities. Just think about that. There is nothing you can't think of that you can't have. We limit ourselves. I know I limit myself all the time. When I sit and I think about the amazing experiences that I had in my life, they all happened when I was enthusiastic about what I wanted to do. When I took an early retirement from my job, and people were like, no, you can't leave, it's not time, you're too young. I stepped out because I was enthusiastic about living a life filled with passion. And as a child welfare worker, my passion had gone away. I was tired of removing children from people's homes and not being able to give them the resources. But I was passionate about helping families. So I stepped into another space. And stepping into that space, enthusiasm is what allowed me to do that. Because I was excited about it and it worked out perfectly. So for me, enthusiasm is a combination of excitement and passion. My passion and purpose are the gifts that I give to the world. They're gifts. So when you tap into your passion, you tap into your purpose. And then you give it to the world. Those are your gifts. It doesn't matter what the gift is. It could be, look at this. Isn't this gorgeous? This is a gift. This is a passion. This is not something that came out of the store. This is something that was created from excitement and passion. And thank you so much. When I'm in the flow of life, fully engaged and interested in what I am doing, enthusiasm is the natural result. It just occurs. With enthusiasm, I give myself to life. So, as we move closer to New Year 2025, I want us to remember we all have secret ingredients that we can add into our life to give us the type of life that we want to have. But it's up to us to decide what those secret ingredients are. Most of the time, if you don't do that, you have ingredients in that life that do not give you the type of life that you want. It's going to give you something else. Having a spiritual awareness about my life, knowing the light, knowing my inner peace, knowing my faith and enthusiasm will help me to remember that the presence of Spirit is in and through everything, and it is always available to me. Ernest Holmes, the last quote. To live a divine life is to recognize the presence of God in everything we do. To see the divine in all people, which is not easy all the time, but we can do it. And to let this awareness guide our thoughts, actions, and interactions. We have a guide, a system that will take us exactly where we want to go. But we have to tap into it, and we have to do it consciously. It's not something that's just going to happen. You have to be conscious of it. You have to hold on to it, tap into it. You have to train yourself to look in And one of the ways you do that is by putting in place a spiritual practice. Every morning, no matter where I am, what's going on, I have a spiritual practice. I read, I write, I do tapping, sometimes I do breathing meditations. Whatever it is, you have to have a spiritual practice that centers you. Because there's so much going on in the world that we can be pulled all over the place. But when you center yourself, particularly in the morning, when you center yourself, then you step into the world ready to accept whatever's there, but also being grounded in your spiritual awareness of who you are. So I want everyone to hold on to those little lights, keep them, because every time you see that little light on your keychain or wherever you put it, you're going to remember. You're going to remember that that light is available to you. So I want you to also remember to remind yourself to take the time to set up a powerful spiritual awareness practice for you going into 2025. Some of us are going to be writing, what are the boards called? Vision boards, New Year's resolutions, whatever it is you're going to do. I also want you to come up with your ingredients. Come up with your ingredients. And then check yourself doing it here. Check yourself in February, in June. See how you're doing. Because remember, your life is the life that you create. It's not the life somebody else creates. We want to do this all the time. But when you do this, it's 3 fingers pointing back. So I leave you with this message that the secret ingredient to your life is spiritual awareness. And it's up to you to decide what that spiritual awareness is going to be. I add a blessing to you and a blessing to these words. Thank you.